Hello, this is Entendre, and today I just wanted to do a brief review of the new synthesizer from Dimitri Chess. I think that's how you say his name. It's called Thorn, and I have his previous plugin, Tantra. He has another synth called Diversion, which I do not have, but that looks pretty cool as well. But I tried out the demo of this synth, and I just felt like I had to have it. So I'm going to give you a little walkthrough and show you what I do and don't like about it. So this is the default preset. Saw wave. It's all well and good. So in the top area we have the pitch bend amount. You can adjust the poly, the number of voices, which is 4 by default. You can adjust the tuning. There's this declick button, which if you start a wave when it's not at the zero crossing point, it's going to make a click. So if you check that little box there, that'll prevent that from happening. It's more evident with like a sine wave. So if I play a sine wave, you can hear that click. Now if I turn this on, very cool. It just goes away. Takes care of that. Saves some time. There's this glide amount. You have this legato button. So that basically just makes it bend between notes. And you also have legato over here. And mono. So mono will trigger each note as though it's starting the envelope again. Whereas legato will just like play the notes without re-triggering the envelopes. So, and we have we have these 3 oscillators, and these are additive spectral oscillators. So you can go in here and draw your own waves using additive synthesis, and you can also use this drop down to select different patterns. It comes with a bunch, and they're also, not only are they like additive spectral synthesis, but they're basically like wave tables you can move through using this position knob. And so that's really cool. And you can also right click in here, and you can load basic shapes, you can smooth stuff, you can sharpen it, you can boost the lows, boost the highs, resonate. You can saturate. So that sounds like this. Phasing. You can also go in here and draw your own phasing. Maximize. You can also shift a bend up, or shift a bend down, or an octave up. Octave down, randomize phase, clear phase. You can import a single frame, so you can actually import an audio file, like a single cycle waveform, or you can import all frames. So that will just basically create a wavetable from additive synthesis out of whatever you import as a wave file. So if I go here to my samples, I can just click on this, and bam, I get this whole pretty cool. And then we have this harmonic filter, which is very unique to this synth. And you can choose from a lot of different presets or save your own. And they sound like this. You can go and draw patterns in here too, with similar tools. You can adjust the balance as well. It's basically an EQ almost, but it's more than that. It's like a spectral harmonic EQ. Then you have these filters, and there's a bunch of awesome filter types. You have the clean, low pass, band pass, and high pass, and dirty of the same, and then the fat and the fat 24 versus 12, which is just a steeper slope. And you have the crisp LP, the subtle LP, band pass, and high hypercomb, which has a nice vowel effect. So I'm going to go through some of these now. If I turn up this envelope, see it's set to envelope 1 by default, so I'm going to turn this up. I can adjust this. Also, something that's cool about these oscillators is you have this drop down with all these built-in effects right here, including FM, RM, sync, W sync, and PM. But you also have this primes, octaves, comb, shift, notch, wah, and screamer. So here's what phase sounds like. And then I'm going to do the screamer. Here's the wah. Here's the notch. Shift. Comb. Which I'm a big fan of comb filters. Octave. You have the primes. Cool effect. And then you have this FM. So what this does is you have to turn on another oscillator. So I'm going to turn this on and then turn the volume down. See, without this on, if I turn this up, you're not going to hear anything. But as soon as I turn on oscillator 2, now if I choose another waveform like a sine wave, FM, it's a frequency modulation. It's basically just modulating this wave using this pattern. So a sine wave will often get a smoother effect, but you can use any wave you want. You could also choose FM down on this one and then turn on the third oscillator, and now you're doing 2 levels of FM. So let's turn this up here. You can choose different waves down here. Now this sub knob will create an oscillator 1 octave below, and you have 3 different sub options. So I just shifted my keyboard an octave up. Just adds a layer of fat to the sound. Alright, let's try some more filters. So we have the clean, low pass, here's the band pass. And this drive knob really adds a nice level of grit to the sound. Here's the high pass. And here's the dirty low pass. dirty bandpass. And the high pass. Here's the fat low pass. Band pass. And high pass. Steeper curve. It's the low pass, band pass, and a high pass. Then we have this crisp LP. Subtle LP. Band pass. And a hypercomb. That's got a nice valley effect. It's cool that they have these format shapes in here too. So you can so then we get after the filters, you can also put this in serial or parallel. So by default it's in parallel, so I could run, you know, Oscillator 2 through a different filter if I were to turn it up. If I press this F1 button, then it's in serial, so this filter will run into this filter. But right now, if I choose a filter here, it's going to be affecting this Oscillator 2. So if I adjust envelope 1, or I could set that to envelope 2. And then if I turn this one back up, so yeah, there's a lot of possibilities there. So after the 3 oscillators and these filters, and you have this noise oscillator as well, you can import a wave file, or you can just use some of the presets here. You can map it to the key, so it'll follow the pitch of what notes you're playing. Then you adjust the pitch here. So if I choose pan there, you have an offset, so you can turn loop on or off. So if I turn loop on, you can play with that offset for some cool effects. So yeah, key follow will make it follow whatever notes you're playing, and the loop will just make it keep looping around. It's pretty fun. You can send it to whatever filter you want. I don't think you can drag a wave in there, but you can definitely import them. So I could go over here to my samples. Just import a sample here. Pretty cool. The filters alone make it worth it for me. But then you get down here to this modulation section. So first off, you have this glitch sequencer. So right here, we'll do basically like a repeater effect. So if you draw stuff in here, you're going to get something like this. It's kind of fun. Although it's one of the only things I don't really love about the synth is that it can get kind of clicky sometimes. It doesn't have a way to declick like the oscillators. So that'd be a cool thing to add, is some kind of way to just declick this glitch sequencer for the repeat effect. But it is pretty cool. I like the idea of it. And then when you get down here into this high pass, this is a bit crushing effect. And then you have this other, I forget what this SR stands for. Another crushing effect, basically, a distortion. And then you have this low pass. And you can sequence all these and get some pretty cool effects. So it's a nice you also have this gate effect down here. So next up we have this arpeggio, and you can turn that on. There's also some presets here. You can save your own. So down here you can also adjust the gate. You change the notes here. You can draw in your patterns or velocities here. going to choose a preset. There's a lot of basses that come with it. This is a folder I made, but you have some basses. Some pluck sounds, some leads, some bass. You got, here's a lead. Let's try this arpeggio on this lead sound. You can also right-click on a lot of the parameters and lock them. So if I was to go through presets, say I could lock the volume, and then it wouldn't change. Which is pretty nice, and it's got some nice pads. So, yeah, after this arpeggio, which is a lot of fun, you can tie notes together, bend them, adjust the velocities, do all kinds of stuff. And you have shuffle too. So let's try that again. Then you have effects up next. So we have distortion, low pass or lo-fi, chorus, phaser, flanger, delay, reverb, EQ, and compressor. And you can drag these into whatever order you want. One of my only things about it is currently the delay is only synced. They don't have an unsynced delay built in, but you can just use an external delay for that. It's still nice to have one right here. And they all have like some presets built into them. And you have a couple different types of reverb. You have this space, which is what we were hearing, and then you have this plate. So it's pretty nice. And then you have an EQ over here. So you can set the frequency here that you want to target, and then this is the gain, so you can adjust the bass, mids, and highs a little bit. There's some presets, so bass boost. You have a distortion unit here with a few different types. So it's got a tube, hyperbolic, soft clip, hard clip, sine, triangle. All right, and then I choose another preset here. Turn on this compressor too. A few presets. Do parallel compression because it's got this mix knob. So That's fully compressed. And this is without it. It's pretty cool. And then, you know, sometimes when you're doing FM or playing on higher frequencies and stuff, you can get some what they call oversampling. And it's basically like a subtle aliasing. It sounds like a distortion effect almost. Let's see if I can recreate it a little bit. But they have this checkbox in here. Wait, it's over here. Over here, if you hear that aliasing, you can just check that, and it will it'll help. It takes more CPU power, but it'll definitely help a little bit for higher quality sounds. So if I uncheck it, it sounds like this. If I check it, it sounds like this. Without. I don't know if that was the best example. It's hard to tell. But it's just good to know it's there if you do hear some aliasing that you don't like. So right now I'm hearing that click. If I turn this on, it should help. I'm still hearing it, but I think it's unrelated to the oscillator start in this case. Let's see what it is. It's actually this click noise, I think. Yeah, so if I turn that off, it sounds much smoother. It's a nice kind of FM kind of womp. And so after the effects, you have this mod matrix, so you can go in and select stuff and modulate. And you also have, so you have these two LFOs down here and a vibrato. And then you have these two multi-stage envelope generators here. And you can switch them to curve, or you can use steps. They also have this shuffle effect, and you can change the gate and smooth them even. You have, so if I set this filter, say I right click here, and you can also just go down to any device and drag up to what you want. Now I can drag this down. If I hold command, I can actually click and just change the range right here. You can also do it in the mod matrix by adjusting the depth. Like that. And then I could go to curve and drag another one up here and modulate the same thing. You can drag this out, and then if you right click, it will add another point. And you can even click here and add curves. click and drag. I accidentally added the same multi-stage envelope generator, so this is what I was trying to do. Something like that. So those are a lot of fun to play with, between the steps, which you can adjust the length of and add shuffle to. You can also, in curve mode, you can adjust the tension, so that's really cool. They have these amp modes, which are nice. You can save your presets easily. So if I want to save a new preset, just go to my folder here. Let's say bass gated FM. There we go. And down here you have this poly mode, so that'll trigger every time. But if I turn this to mono, then I could play different notes and it'll still keep repeating the pattern here. And mono sync does basically the same, except it's synced to the grid more. So yeah, it's really quite a nice synth, and I'm really glad that I got it. Currently it's on sale for $69 until December 31st, 2017, and the normal price is supposedly $120. So it's a good time to get it while it's still fresh, and hopefully there'll be some nice future updates to improve some of its setbacks. And but overall, I think it's quite a nice synth, and I really like the character of it. It's got some nice analog filters and some good warmth to it. You can get some cool stuff going on with these different types here between the comb and the FM and all the different settings here. Let's just hear the comb again for a minute. Here you can go through the sine wave, like I could set this comb to be random, so every time I press a key it's going to be a different value. And let's just adjust the scale again by holding command and dragging. Let's try a different wave shape. arpeggio. Let's turn this up again. I was wondering, the filters were cutting out a lot of the comb filter effect. So now I could select something like a melodic pattern. Try the LFO. You can unsync the LFO here, which is nice. Got different shapes here, including a random step and a random slide. hold Command and double click, or if you just double click on something, it'll return to default, which is pretty cool. There's glitch presets too. You can turn things off and on, so if you don't like the bit crushed effects, you can just turn those off. All right. That's all for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed and have a wonderful day. Until next time, I'm Antandra. Peace.